All right, what is up, guys? It's your boy Jay Z Bottom Lip. I know it's been a while since I came up with a video about just basically understanding fighting games, right? But today I wanted to talk about how to abuse plus frames, how to abuse frames, right? I wanted to use Johnny because Johnny's whole playstyle is rush down. Um, it's probably one of the best in the game, probably one of the best in a long time. I never played MK9, but a lot of people like to compare Johnny's playstyle to MK9 Johnny. But that's besides the point. The point in this video is to show you how to abuse plus frames. And then on top of that, while doing so, I will also let you know why Johnny is top tier. Okay, so basically, when it comes to understanding how to basically abuse plus frames, you have to understand, first of all, that when it comes to defensively, your opponent is going to want to take his turn back, obviously, right? But you're plus. So this is plus, that's plus, this is plus, and I believe this is plus, right? So the mind game behind like how to use these moves is the threat of his 9-frame mid, right? So a lot of times people will respect your plus frames because you have a 9-frame mid, and knowing so will allow you to abuse plus frames. So for an example, if you're using this string, you will automatically go into knee. This basically jails. The reason why no one wants to press there is because they will get hit. Most of the time when people want to challenge, they will most likely challenge with a down one, and their down one will get stuffed by a 9-frame mid. Now, the way that you abuse plus frames is by using something like this. This is kind of like what your pressure will look like. And a reason why you would do this, first of all, is kind of just to get your opponent to be scared of the strike throw game. A lot of times when you pressure people into this, they're most likely doing this a lot of times. This allows you to do a lot of unnecessary staggers. This will condition them to start blocking. This will also condition them to believe that they can down one, which essentially they can. Now, when you establish this dominant play style, you can allow to start using knee. You can even start staggering knee. A lot of times people will just do knee, and once they do knee, a lot of times people will down poke and return. And once you do that, you can grab or go straight back into your plus frames. Now, you also have to understand, or the main reason why I'm making this video is to let you understand that a lot of times when you're abusing plus frames, the only thing that your opponent is going to do is down one. They will never really necessarily take their turn back with a 1-1 move. The reason being is that even though this is plus and my 9-frame mid jails it, I can also jail my stand one moves because they can't necessarily take their turn back with a high. So they essentially have to down poke, because a down poke, which is a mid, will beat a high. I'm not sure if a lot of people understand that, but there's like a saying where like mids beat highs, and I believe highs sometimes beat like lows, or it just depends on like how fast the move is. But more or less, the thing is, a lot of times when you're +4, they don't have a move that really can take their turn back with a stand poke. So a lot of times you can abuse them with this, and then if they poke here, it's their turn. But then once that happens, you can start going back into your mid. And then what's crazy about Johnny is that he has a 9-frame mid, so a lot of times people can't do a string and then mash against Johnny because he has a 9-frame mid. So after you do your 9-frame mid to take your turn back, you can go into Kung Lao Hat, which is +2, which essentially allows you to do another knee. Now, a lot of times people will challenge that, or armor. So a lot of times you can just stagger knee and wait for them to react, and then you can go back into knee, or you can go back into your pressure. And then a lot of times what's so crazy about Johnny is that he can do things like this, which is flawless blockable. So since that move is flawless blockable, your opponent will be looking for that move, which allows you to stagger that move into a grab if they try to up block. You can also do the low, or you could just stagger this into that, or you could just stagger this into this because it goes into an overhead after the last hit. So a lot of times your pressure is very scary with Johnny. So Johnny is a great example of how to abuse plus frames. I may take this character online to show you what it looks like to abuse plus frames, so you can understand, not just from practice, but like also seeing it in game and how effective it is as well. I wanted to use this as an example of how to basically pressure with Johnny. This is also the result of conditioning your opponent. And as you can see, they don't really want to block. They rather just wake up buttons because they don't want to play your mind game no more. But your buttons are so good that they just have to. Also wanted to let people know that what the score was. I know people are weird out there, so you might be like, oh, I'm better than Jay-Z, da 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 woo. First of all, I don't play this character. I'm just really good at understanding the game. So I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. So the reason why he got hit by the fatal blow right there is because all game he's been buffering a string into a move into a string actually. So in Mortal Kombat, and I think it's only in Mortal Kombat. I'm not sure if it's in other fighting games, but basically you can whiff a button into a special move. Any move that's an aerial move. So like for an example, you can do a jump 3, and then from that jump 3, you can do a special move. So a lot of times, like in Mortal Kombat 11, there was a character named Jackie Briggs. She would do a jump in, whiff her jump in, and you would go to anti-air and get hit by a goop. So it was like a mind game behind it. So I kind of read him when he jumped in the air. I automatically already assumed that that's what he was going for. So I basically parried it on reaction. So yeah. This is also another video I would like to show you that was from the same day. I'm basically showing you his play style, understanding how he wants to play. He uses a lot of highs to take his turn back. You can neutral duck, or you can OS block a lot of times. Delay wake up, you can shimmy him. You can walk him down a lot more. You can get away with a lot more different staggers and strings. But he will challenge in certain instances where he shouldn't, where it makes it a little easier to keep pressuring him. Like right there, after Kung Lao had he grabbed. In any scenario, I would never allow that. But I was really baiting his wake up option. Like a lot of times you'll see me right here, I'm baiting him to wake up, but he's not delay wake up in. So, oh, he is delay wake up in, so it's easier to pressure someone. So like the one thing about wake ups is you have to wake up. If you delay wake up, you can't wake up. So that's something that you need to learn, understand when it comes to plus frames or Oki. When you knock your opponent down to the ground, most of the time when you knock them to the ground, they'll delay wake up, which allows you to basically use your Oki frames. And when they use their Oki frames, you can kind of like get away with walking in. It's kind of similar to like when you knock opponent down to the ground, having enough frames for a free jump in. It's similar in that sense, but rather than jumping in, you kind of wave dash in or micro dash in a sense. Okay, now I wanted to explain to you why Johnny Cage is top tier. The reason why Johnny Cage is top tier is because he has advancing strings, even though one is a high, or it is a high, it's advancing, which is really good for closing the gap on someone, or whiff punishing, making it a lot easier to whiff punish. Then he also has forward 3 that's advancing, which makes it also easy to punish as well. Plus, it's a 9-frame mid, so it beats out a lot of pokes, especially in the neutral, if you whiff a button. It's really good as well. On top of that, he has really good movement, as you can tell. It's insane. And then on another thing too is that a lot of his strings are really good. So even this string is -1, which essentially he can take his turn back since he has a 6-frame poke. It is punishable, so you can like reversal down poke him on reaction. He has this, which is really good as well. But this can lead into like Kung Lao hat. So essentially, what really makes him top tier is his stagger games. So a lot of times this string, he has this, which is plus. Then he has this. Then he also has this. Then he also has this. And then he also has the overhead. But then when you incorporate Kung Lao assist, it makes it really crazy because then you can do things like this, or you can do this. You would never do this though because this is plus. So you would do things like, but this is really good for that. A lot of people like this, and it's slow. So since this is kind of slow as well, it'll catch people sometimes. And then you can just start mixing it up with that string, or you can just commit it to that string or this. It doesn't matter. Everything he has is damn near plus. So like, you're gonna be utilizing a lot of staggers and layers. So again, what really makes Johnny Cage really strong is his layers. So like a lot of times people like to challenge after this string. You can do this a lot of times. These are really good as well. You could do this. You could even do this. Keep yourself plus. So like essentially you're always going to be plus with Johnny. Plus. You know what I mean? So that's really what makes this character top tier. There isn't much depth into this game where you need to go and say a whole bunch of crazy shit and say, oh, this is the many reasons why. Really, in reality, the only thing that really makes Johnny Cage top tier is his advancing strings, his plus frames, and then his movement. That's literally what makes this character insane. And then you can go into details about how he has a parry, that he can punish a lot of like special moves that have gaps in it and so on and so forth. You can go into details about that, but in reality, that's not really necessarily what makes him top tier. So again, I just wanted to give you guys a little small detail. Maybe I'll do a real guide, like a true guide on Johnny Cage and how to utilize him and so on and so forth. But this video is just really to show you guys how to abuse plus frames, and I think Johnny Cage is a great example for that. Thank you for watching. Try to keep this video under 10 minutes. I will be uploading a lot more videos on characters, play styles, and strategies as well. Thank you so much.